Hello. So a client of mine was creating a vision for her love life, her love relationship, her intimate relationship. And she raised a question to me. She said, I'm seeking compatibility in my relationship. So one of the things we do as part of this relationship vision creation session is to always look deeper into where some of the needs, wants, and desires are coming from and get to the source of where that was coming from. So we did that with a specific client. And the basis of this work is to really help people understand where they have unrealistic expectations of their relationship. So the idea of compatibility, I think, is a really useful one to uncover in the context of our everyday as well as our intimate relationships. So anytime you seek to avoid somebody or you seek to be with somebody, what I will say is that there is a part of you that is either shrinking or that feels validated and is expanding. Now, it's important to understand that we are never to put ourselves in a situation where we are overly challenged or overly supported in our relationships. When we say we're looking for compatibility, what we're really saying is, I don't want to grow, I don't want to expand myself, and I want to be in a relationship that will just allow me to surface. That is not a relationship game. That's not going to happen in the context of a relationship. A relationship, whether you consider that a casual relationship, whether you consider that an intimate relationship that is going to monogamous or polyamorous, whatever you want to call it, in any situation, whatever you are in relationship will challenge you. You are not going to be able to avoid that. The only way to avoid challenge is to pretty much lock yourself within your house and say, I'm not leaving. And even that is going to challenge you because as a human, you will not survive doing that. So I want to get grounded that compatibility, when we are wanting just compatibility 100% of the time, it ain't happening, okay? That's a straight message here. So instead, what we want to do is we want to get very clear that when we ask for compatibility, we are also going to get and must be willing to accept that we will get incompatibility in any relationship. Now, this is true of our relationship with our parents and in our childhood, our caregivers, and also true of any intimate relationship and true of professional relationships. So no matter which relationship you're going to go toward or be in, it's actually going to show you that there's compatibility and incompatibility. Let's just take a moment to see why. If I said, I'm going to take everybody out of your life right now, and I left you with just you, what you will be forced to do is to face many of your deeper emotions of loneliness. Let's just call it that, okay, as an example, loneliness, your fears of being alone in yourself, and potentially all of this. You may say, I'm not going to be afraid, but let me leave you there for like 2 years, 3 years. After all the length of time being alone and with yourself, you're going to say, wow, being with myself is just as hard as being with somebody else. Because there's compatibility and incompatibility within yourself. I just want that to sink in for a moment. There are areas of you that are fully integrated within you. There are areas that are not integrated within you. Similarly, when you go into a relationship with somebody, there are areas within them that are fully integrated with them and areas that are not. And when you consider the relationship as an entity, there are going to be areas where a person is integrated, or both persons are integrated into the relationship, and areas where you're not integrated into the relationship. So, the purpose of any relationship, including the relationship you have with yourself, is to show you areas where you are not compatible with each other or within yourself. So the reality is, when you are in a relationship with somebody else, you are going to be shown a mirror where you're going to see parts of yourself that have been disowned, that are being called back to come to ownership within yourself. And you're going to see parts of you that have also been owned. The areas that you have owned, you are going to say, I'm very compatible with this person because there's no conflict. But the areas where you feel incompatibility rising, you're going to say, I'm incompatible with this person, and disown that part potentially. But that is also in your thinking and perception that that area is not a great area of connection between the two of you. And so what you would want to do is to take it a step deeper than that. So when you go deeper within yourself and really examine the areas that you are considering as incompatible, these are areas that are being called upon to be integrated within yourself. So when you put the mirror in front of yourself and when you integrate that part of yourself back within yourself, that's when it comes to wholeness. So the work still has to happen within you. So the belief shift you will need to have to move through the scenario is that just because somebody is showing me areas that are incompatible doesn't mean that there is no intimacy in that moment, because it's your perception of what you consider to be compatible that you're really addicted to in the moment. And so to break your addiction for all things positive and own what is not positive, you will need to look deeper within yourself and integrate that part that they're showing you as incompatible. Now, if we're really humble and if we're really learning this from embracing the idea of a relationship from a holistic perspective, we are actually experiencing gratitude for this person to be showing us where the areas in us are fragmented and how they're helping us to bring this to wholeness within ourselves. So this is the beauty of our relationship. So therefore, the work that you're doing is to actually take a piece of yourself that has broken away from you and putting it back within you. That is the path to intimacy within yourself. So what I invite you to do is to change your belief to understand that true intimacy is a result of integrating the disintegrated parts back within yourself. And when you can approach it this way, now you're positioned to use the relationship as the grounds, the foundation for you to expand, to grow, to open your heart at a deeper level, and to come into wholeness within yourself. This is the wholeness that you are seeking through your spiritual practices, through your meditation practices, through whatever practices you do in order to feel good within yourself. This is what you're trying to integrate. So when you are in whole judgment, it's actually showing you which part has broken away that needs to come back with it. Okay? So the judgment is serving you and it has a place. It's bringing you back to a place of wholeness. And now when you can bring these pieces that are incompatible back within yourself, now you become a different version than you were yesterday or before this happened. That's the purpose of all intimate relationship, is to bring you to wholeness. So could we do this by ourselves? Absolutely. But will we see it more? No. It's going to be more obvious when it's outside of us, because when we are in our little cocoons of comfort and in our little comfort zones of I'm not going to be in a relationship, we actually stay in that comfort zone and we are pushing away any of the challenges that intimate relationship brings. It's not a criticism. Some of us make a choice to not be in an intimate relationship. That's perfectly fine. But it shouldn't be coming out of a fear of being in relationship, and neither should there be a fear of being alone. So in effect, the fear of aloneness and being in relationship are neutral in your mind. And from that neutrality, you can choose to be in relationship, and you're also okay to not have relationships sometimes. So this is the purpose of integrating all these parts, is to make you more secure within, to make you more whole within. So you realize the purpose of the relationship, and at the same time, you understand that you are an individual in the relationship. In several of my posts in the past several days, I've been talking about interdependent relationships as opposed to codependent and independent relationships. So interdependence is like the middle space of codependent and independent in a relationship. We don't want to have too much independence. We don't want to have too much dependence. Instead, if we can get to interdependence, where we understand that we each bring something to the table, and we understand how to work with each other, how to be present to each other and learn from each other's experiences and triggers, now we're creating true intimacy in a relationship. This is really critical to understand, because intimate relationships, that's why they're called intimate relationships. So they can show us where we've allowed pieces of us to break away. And those fragmented pieces can then be called back within yourself. Have a good day.